Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Shloka number 43 and 44. Chirvasa nirahara.
Chirvasa nirahara.
Nirahara. Baddhavak mukta murdaja.
Baddhavak mukta
Murdaja.
murdhaja.
Darshayan atmanah rupam.
Darshayan atmanah rupam.
Jada unmatta pishachavat.
Jada unmatta pishachavat.
Anavekshmana niragata.
Ura anvekshamanah niragat.
Ashrunvan badira yatha.
Ashrunvan badhirah yatha.
Udicim pravivesha asham.
Udichim pravivesha asam.
Gata purvam maha atmabhi.
Gata purvam maha atmabhihi.
Hrude brahma param dhyayan.
Hrudi brahma param dhyayan.
Na avartet yatah gatah.
Na avartet yatah gatah.
Chiravasa nirahara.
Chiravasa niraharah.
Baddhavagam mukta murdajah.
Baddhavaka mukta murdhvajah.
Darshayan atmanah rupam.
Darshayan atmanah rupam.
Jada unmatta pishachavata.
Jada unmatta pishachavat.
Anvekshmana niragat.
Anvekshamanah niragat.
Shrunvan badira yatha.
Shrunvan badhirah yatha.
Udicim pravivesha asham.
Udichim pravivesha asham.
Gata purvam maha atmabhi.
Gata purvam maha atmabhihi.
Hrude brahma param dhyayan.
Hrudi brahma param dhyayan.
Na avartet yatah gatah.
Na avartet yatah gatah.
Chiravasa nirahara. Baddhavaga mukta murdaja. Darshayan atmana rupam. Jada unmatta pishachavata. Anvekshmana niragat. Ashrunvan badira yatha. Udicim pravivesha asham. Gata purvam mahatmabhi. Rudi brahma param dhyayan. Na avartet yatah gatah.
Chiravasa nirahara buddhavaka mukta murdhajah. Darshayan atmanah rupam. Jada unmatta pishachvata. Anvekshamana niragata. Ashrunvan badhirah yatha. Udichim pravivesha asham. Gata purva mahatmabhihi. Hrudi brahma param dhyayan. Avartet yatah gatah. Na avartet yatah gatah.
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After that, Maharaj Yudhishthira dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all solid foods, voluntarily became dumb and let his hair hang loose. All these combined to make him look like an urchin or madman with no occupation. He did not depend on his brothers for anything, and just like a deep man, he heard nothing. He then started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers and, and great men to devote himself completely to the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he lived in that way, whatever he went. The purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus, being freed from all external affairs, he had nothing to do with imperial life or family prestige, and for all practical purposes, he posed himself exactly like an inert urchin and did not speak of material affairs. He had no dependence on his brother, who had all along been helping him. This stage of complete independence from everything is also called the purified stage of fearlessness. It is understood from this verse that Maharaj Yudhishthira followed in the footsteps of his forefathers and the great devotees of the Lord. We have discussed many times before that the system of Varnashram Dharma, as it was strictly followed by the inhabitant of the world, specifically by those who inhabited the Aryavarta province of the world, emphasizes the importance of leaving all household connections at a certain stage of life. The training and education was so important, and thus a respectable person like Maharaj Yudhishthir had to leave all family connection for self-realization and going back to Godhead. No king or respectable gentleman would continue family life till the end because that was considered suicidal and against the interest of the perfection of human life. In order to be free from all family branches and devote oneself 100% in the devotional service of Lord Krishna, this system is always recommended for everyone because it is the path of authority. The Lord instructs in the Bhagavad-gītā 18.62 that one must become a devotee of the Lord at least at the last stage of one's life. A sincere soul of the Lord like Maharaj Yudhishthir must abide by his instruction of the Lord for his own interest. The specific words Brahman Paramam Param indicate Lord Sri Krishna. This is corroborated in the Bhagavad-gītā 10.13 by Arjuna with reference to great authorities like Asit, Deval, Narad, and Vyas. Thus, Maharaj Yudhishthir, while leaving home for the north, constantly remembered Lord Sri Krishna within himself, following in the footsteps of his forefathers, as well as the great devotees of all time. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroho Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhubhe Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Today we try to understand shloka number 43 and 44. In this shloka, they describe about the Yudhishthira Maharaj condition after when they decided to go for Himalayas and they wanted and they describe about that this is the stage of complete independence from everything is also called the purified stage of fearlessness. And 44 shlokas they giving about that who accept this path he lived in that way whether and Yudhishthira Maharaj also accepting this path and he lived in that way whatever he went. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji will tell us in detail nicely.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So very wonderful shloka, which is continuing about how Yudhishthira Maharaj is finally, after having ruled religiously, righteously for many years, realizing time has come to renounce worldly responsibilities, dedicate entirely to spiritual realization. So, following departure of Lord Krishna, Yudhishthira observed the onset of Kali-yuga and decided to leave behind his kingly duties, setting example of perfect detachment and renunciation. In fact, his renunciation is in line with the principle of vairāgya, detachment, which is taught in the scriptures, which states that one should engage in material duties responsibly, but should ultimately seek liberation by surrendering to Supreme Lord. So Maharaj Yudhishthir, as it is described in these verses, dressed himself in torn clothing, gave up eating all solid foods, voluntarily became dumb, let his hair hang loose. So all of this made him look like an urchin or a madman with no occupation. And he did not depend on his brothers for anything. Just like a deaf man, he heard nothing. And then he started towards the north, treading the path accepted by his forefathers, great men, to devote himself completely to the thought of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he lived in that way wherever he went. So, this makes us understand the importance of how we also need to bring about an improvement in our detachment. Being freed from all external affairs, Yudhishthira Maharaj had nothing to do with imperial life, family prestige. For all practical purposes, he posed himself like an inert mad urchin, did not speak of material affairs at all. Most importantly, he no longer had any dependence on his brothers. All throughout the life, every time his brothers had been all along helping him. And together, they were winning. You know the story, the importance of unity. So they were the ideal examples of it. But now, he had changed himself in such a way that he did not have any dependence on anyone, including his brothers. And that is why Prabhupada says that this stage where we also reach that complete independence from anything is purified stage of fearlessness. Because what is fear, as we had been learning previously, fear is everything related to materialism. You want to lose control. No one wants to lose control. And that is the cause of fear. But here, being independent, not dependent on anything, he was fearless. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Once upon a time, being the king, he used to wear royal garments, and now he had put on torn clothing. So this symbolized complete detachment from material opulence. While kings are known for grandeur, a vairāgya or a renunciate gives up all external appearances of wealth. So this renunciation, which Yudhishthira Maharaj is demonstrating, is actually following the example set by great devotees like Dhruva Maharaj, Bharata Maharaj, who also abandoned their kingdoms to seek the absolute truth. This is something which even Krishna explained to Arjuna in Bhagavad-gītā 2.22. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. As a person discards old garments and takes new ones, the soul gives up old bodies and accepts new ones. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was changing in dress was an external reflection of his deep internal renunciation. Nirahara, This is an important word which we see here, abstaining from food. Now, food is a basic necessity, but excessive indulgence bites one to material existence. So Yudhishthira Maharaj gradually reduced his eating, signifying his detachment from bodily demands. This principle, again, if you see, comes from Bhagavad-gītā 6.16, where Krishna advises moderation in eating as part of yoga. न ति अश्नतस्तु योगहस्ति न च एकांतम अश्नतः न च अति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतः न एव च अर्जुनः. Fasting is a common practice among renunciates, as it helps control the senses and increases spiritual focus. But Bhagavad means controlling speech. Now, speech is powerful. It can create attachments or lead to unnecessarily entanglements. By observing silence, Monbrath, Yudhishthira Maharaj withdrew from all worldly conversations and focused his mind entirely on the absolute. In 17.15, Krishna states that speech should be truthful, pleasing, and beneficial. Anudvega vakyam satyam priyahitam cha yat swadhyaya abhyasanam cha eva vangvayam tapa uchyate. But when one is ready for total renunciation, even useful speech is abandoned in favor of silent meditation on the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukta Murdhajaha, which means unkept hair. Now, in Vedic culture, renunciates do not maintain their external appearance. Once upon a time, as a king, Yudhishthira Maharaj was very well kept. But now, he let his hair remain unkept, symbolizing that he no longer cared about social expectations or personal grooming. In fact, even Bharat Maharaj, after giving up his kingdom, he lived as Jada Bharat, disregarding all external considerations and focusing only on spiritual realization. Srila Prabhupada, in our mission, when he established, he says that devotees should have small hair, the Prabhujis especially. And those who are taking of ashram, they should have no hair except for a small shika. Because hair means entanglement. Jada unmatta pishachavat, appearing like a dullard, madman, or a ghost. The Yudhishthira Maharaj renunciation was so complete that people saw him as insane or possessed. Generally, worldly people, those who are materialistic, they misunderstand spiritual renunciation. They measure success by wealth and power. But those who are truly seeking Krishna's love, they abandon these materialistic values. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also exhibited similar behavior when he immersed in Krishna Prem, being mistaken by ordinary people as mad. So true devotees care only for Krishna's satisfaction, not society's opinion. But this does not mean that we do what we feel. We still have to follow the etiquettes of humility and respect to everyone, because with everyone there is Paramatma. So we cannot speak even in a 0.01 decibel higher voice with any other person who has taken Krishna's name even once, because that would be considered as Krishna Nama Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad. Krishna can accept aparad at his service, but he never accepts an aparad which is made through his devotion. And that is why we have to control our tongue very, very, very strong. We have so many emotions going on in our mind. We are troubled in so many ways by so many people in our life from birth till now. We want to speak, but no one wants to hear, including our near and dear ones. So the moment we get opportunity, we blah, 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 blah. And that is where we make Vaishnava apparat. So we have to be careful. Anvekshamana, not looking at him. By not glancing at anyone, Yudhishthira Maharaj avoided all distractions that could have weakened his renunciation. In fact, looking at familiar faces can rekindle attachments. But he was determined to leave all bonds behind and fix his vision only on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ashrunvan badhirah yatha. So not hearing anything like a deaf man. Hearing only news, discussions, flattery. They can bind a person in material life. So to avoid this, Yudhishthira Maharaj cut off all external sounds and focused only on hearing transcendental knowledge, especially the glories of the Lord. And this is something which we learned in the first canto, second chapter, 17th verse. Shunvatam swakataha Krishna punyashravana kirtana hridayantastha hi bhadrani vidunoti susangatam satam. So Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, changes desire for material attachment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So hearing about Krishna destroys all inauspiciousness and fear, purifies the heart. So by avoiding mundane conversations, Yudhishthira ensured his consciousness remained fixed on Krishna. This Varnashrama Dharma, it used to be followed very strictly by the inhabitants of the world, especially those who were residents of the Aryavarta province of the world, because it emphasizes the importance of leaving all household connections at a certain stage of life. The training, the education was given in such a way that respectable personalities like Maharaj Yudhishthir, they had to leave all family and connections for self-realization and going back to Godhead. No person, no respectable gentleman, no king would continue family life till then, because it was considered suicidal and against the interest of perfection of human life. So in order to be free from all family encumbrances, we must devote 100% to the devotional service of Lord Krishna. And this system is always recommended for everyone because it is the path of authority. This is something which Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā 18.62. Tam eva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapasyasi shashvatam. O son of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal abode. So you must become a devotee of the Lord, at least at the last stage of our life. A sincere soul like Yudhishthira Maharaj abides by the instruction of the Lord because they are for our own interest. And here in the shloka, Brahma Param which comes, it indicates Lord Krishna. And this is something which is confirmed through Bhagavad-gītā 10.13 as Arjuna had referred to him with reference to great authorities like Asit Deval Narad Vyasa. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahutvam Rushayah Sarve Devarshi Naradah Tatha Asitah Devalah Vyasah Swayam Cha Eva Bravishi Me. So Maharaj Yudhishthir, while leaving home for the north, constantly remembered Krishna within himself, following in the footsteps of his forefathers, as well as all the great devotees of the time. Now, when it is mentioned north, why north? That becomes a generalized question, why everyone goes to north? The answer is north directs towards the Himalayas, which is considered as the most appropriate place for continuing our devotional service. North also indicates towards the location of the heavenly planets and the way to go back home, back to Godhead. That is why everyone who has sought liberation, who has sought Krishna, has approached North. That is what even Yudhishthira Maharaj is doing, but he is doing not on his own. He is following the path of great sense. Gatapurva Mahatma Abhihi. So renunciation should always be guided by the wisdom of past Acharyas, spiritual master. You should not be inventing a new path. So this shows Yudhishthira Maharaj's humility and respect for the established Vedic processes. Krishna also says the same thing in Bhagavad-gītā. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshaya vidu sakalena eham mahata yogena shta parantapa. This supreme knowledge is passed down through disciplic succession. And then what does he do? Ide Brahma Param Dhyayan. Meditating on the supreme Brahman in the heart. Raj did not merely leave his kingdom. He absorbed himself completely on Krishna. This was not impersonal, but directed towards Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā 6.47, Yoginam api sarvesham madbhakte anantaratmana shraddhavan vachte yomam same yuktatamaha mataha. And because of that, he obtained something which is navartet yatah gata, never returning from his path. Once he left for renunciation, he never looked back. His decision was final, showing his firm determination in spiritual pursuit, which teaches us that spiritual progress requires unwavering commitment. माम उपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम अशाश्वतम न आपनुवन्ति महात्माना संसिद्धिम परमाम गता. Krishna says in 8.15, those who reach my abode never return to this world of suffering. So the practical teachings for us from these three shlokas is we have to detach from material comforts. 2, we have to control speech and hearing. 3, we have to follow the great Acharyas. We should learn from your previous saints and teachers on how to perfect our life to achieve the ultimate objective, which is Krishna Prem. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.